Passing through the veil of mystery, seeking answers no one is brave to ask. This is Bound to Truth.
Hey, it's Christopher J. Lopez with Bound to Truth. Today I have a special episode with Gary White and Randy Bauer and my new co-host, Cody Wright. And if you guys have not listened to prior episodes with Gary White and Randy Bauer is the one who has a very sizable acre land and his experience with Bigfoot. Gary White has his experience with extraterrestrial beings. Now, everybody out there may say, well, what's the connection between you two? Why do you connect them together? Well, there's multiple reasons why. Number one, Gary and Randy just, I feel like, come like cut from the same cloth, just as personality. Very humble, very passionate, all about trying to find answers for the truth and not just like settling for assumptions. And number two, they both talk about beings being interdimensional. And like I said before in prior podcasts, when it comes to Bigfoot, aliens, cryptids, people ask what's the connection? It could be nothing or it could be everything. This will be a two-part series. I really hope you enjoy. Really love to get your thoughts. And definitely hit the subscribe button on YouTube, X, Facebook, Spotify, Buzzsprouts, Apple, Audible on Amazon. And definitely share your thoughts and feelings. And if you want to be a guest on the show, would love to have you on boundtotruth34@gmail.com. Definitely send me your thoughts on that stuff, and would love to hear your theories and so forth. And then also one more reminder, we're going to be having our first live feed Bound to Truth Cabin Talk with John Hershey, Cody Wright, and myself. Hopefully you'll all be on there. Would love to get you guys to really join this awesome platform. And like I said, the more you guys join, the more you guys subscribe, the more you like and just be part of this adventure, the bigger the platform. You know, like I tell people, yes, I'd love to make money from it. Absolutely, because I'm passionate about it. Because it gives me opportunity to do the things to explore on your behalf as well as mine. So, but anyways, yeah, I hope you enjoy this episode. And yeah, until then, see you on the other side. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Bound to Truth. Let me put the slide on here. I am your host, Christopher J. Lopez, with Cody Wright here. And Wright is spelled with a W, R-I-G-H-T. Yes, I can spell. And I also actually, I spell better than I do as county, and I'm a banker. My goodness. Hope everybody's having a great day today. And we have a special episode for you tonight. I have, you guys heard many times, Randy Bauer with his love of his Bigfoot experiences, but not just his Bigfoot experience, just seeing Bigfoot and so forth, but his communication with Bigfoot, his experiences, and his relationships that he's had with these beings. In addition to that, you've heard Gary White recently, again for a second time with John Hershey, who's had a lot of years of experience with himself regarding interdimensional beings or aliens, depending on what we're going to talk about tonight. And so everybody's probably asking, you're having two guys, one's got a big experience, and you got one with aliens, interdimensional experience. Where's the connection? Now, when people ask, well, where's the connection? One thing I say to them is nothing or everything. So I want to bring these two guys tonight to kind of share their experiences and stories and see if there's anything we can collaborate and kind of just have like a table talk, just like if we were hanging out at a bar or a round table at someone's house and kind of see what comes up of it. little fun experiment. I never seen anybody do that before with people who had their own experiences that are different but yet supernatural because of it not being the complete norm. So yeah, I'm gonna come on the screen here. Let's do that. Looks like I do it right. There we go. No, there we go. There we go. Again, I'm looking StreamYard here. Hey, Gary, Randy, guys, thank you for being on. You guys have not met, of course, so this ain't planned. Or no, it's planned, but it's not like we had we talked like hours before. We talked a few minutes before. But yeah, so you guys never met before, and want to thank you both for being on tonight. So how you guys doing?
Good.
Sweet.
Good.
Gary? Good. Good deal.
Good.
So I kind of want you both to, I know you both shared your stories before, especially you, Gary, since, you and I talked recently with John and so forth, but I want to kind of get you guys a little bit of feel for each other. So Randy, kind of short history for yourself, and then Gary, you'll go next. Just regards to experience with you, Gary, with Bigfoot, Sasquatch, and Randy, with you, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, and Gary, then you'll be for your history. And let's do some talk about our recent experiences and talk about some theories and then see how we can guide the conversation. So, Randy, you go first.
Yeah, I'll have to make it short because I could go for 2 days straight here and still not be done because I have an ongoing situation at my place here.
Yeah.
Been going on for 12 years that I know about. About 12 years ago, I never gave no thought to no Bigfoot, Sasquatch stuff at all. And I didn't believe in it, did not believe in it. I didn't give it a thought. And God, if I tell from the beginning, I got to see how I can shorten it up.
Right.
Well, I'm not going to go from the beginning. I've seen Sasquatch 12 times close up in the daytime in the flesh and blood state. One time so close, it was like that close to my face. We look at each other. But when I do see them, we look at each other. I'm not scared of them. There's nothing to be scared of. They've been seen 33 times at my place by other people that I've let come here. The reason why I'm getting at the beginning there, I didn't know what they were. And I was doing the cameras and hitting the tree with a stick and all that stuff. Well, they're not hitting a tree with a stick at all. When I started getting lots of interaction with them is when I stopped doing cameras. One time, Doug Hychuk from the History Channel, he had the show Monster Quest. He said, Randy, put a camera up by your gifting area and just say this, hey, can we get a picture of you? And we won't share it. It'll only be for me and for Doug. But then I said, if you don't ever want cameras ever again on this property, you got to give me some kind of sign that I can see. And so I did that. I said that. Next day I go back there. I used to go back in the woods about 5 o'clock to my gifting area that I have now. And when I got back there, the camera was twisted. The batteries are drained dry. They were brand new lithium batteries. When I got the SD card at the house, it was wiped clean. There was nothing on there, not even me. There was white fingerprints all over the camera. And there was a 15-foot Y stick on my camera, laying right on my camera. No picture of them putting it there. And I took that as a sign, and I stopped doing trail cameras. That's when my interaction started increasing. They do things for me. Last year, I went through 300 jars of peanut butter, 30 bags of apples. I don't even count anymore. Now I'm in the woods every day doing my gifting thing, and this is just on the 40 acres by our house. We live in northern Minnesota, and I have little trinkets out there. Little wooden blocks in one little spot by where I put the peanut butter. Some pre-cut red weed eater lines about that long. On another spot, I got some dice, Rubik's Cube, some little sticks. I'll take a picture of that stuff, how I move it. I'll come back the next day and it's all placed different. It ain't no little animal or raccoon going around bumping it. No, it's actually intricate. Sometimes they take the Rubik's Cube and they twist it and it's set in cockeyed, balancing. Sometimes they take the dice and put them at 666. When I do my little wooden kids block, the blocks are about that long. Sometimes I'll call it a Jesus cross. I'll put a cross in there. I come back that the cross is destroyed. It's like they hit it with white clean. No, that's not all the time, but sometimes that happens. Okay, I know what the X's mean. I know what the knocking sound is. I know what they are to a point and what they're not. They gift me deer skulls. I got 8-point bucks, 6-point bucks. In Minnesota, they don't go 4x4. They count the whole thing. so it'd be a 6-pointer. They gave me doe skulls. They gave me beaver skulls. I get horse skulls. And they're in perfect condition. Now in Minnesota or anywhere in like February, deer will drop their antlers. And what happens to those antlers? You can never hardly find them in northern Minnesota because porcupines, raccoons, they eat them. It's mineral based for them, or mice chewing them up. None of my deer horns are chewed on, not a one. And I used to tell people, well, that's because Sasquatch got the smell on them. Was I wrong? That's before I knew what was going on. Okay, I'll just skip to my mind speaks. They mind speak to me. I've had it 1, 2, 3, 4 times that I know of for sure. Last year, I get done doing my gifting. I have a peanut butter jar. I take the lid off, take the paper off, put the lid back on, and I got 4 nails in a tree. I'm 5'6", about to my chin, not high up, and I'll lean it in there. What Sasquatch does, they take the lid off, and they put the lid down by the tree. All the reds are together, whatever color the lid is, all the reds are together, the blues are together, the greens are together, the browns are together. Now, yes, bear do get my peanut butter sometimes, and raccoons do. And when a bear gets it, the jar is laid down. It's totally ripped in half. The cap's ripped in half, and there's still residue in it. When a porcupine gets it, there's a hole in the bottom of it, and they're licking it out and all that. When a Sasquatch gets it, they do, like I said, the lids, and the jar is gone. Sometimes the jar is brought back, and it's put upside down on a branch of a tree, and it looks like I went through a dishwasher. It is perfect. There's not a bite mark on it. And those caps down below, there's not one bite mark on it. Okay, so I'm talking really fast here to get through a little bit of the good spots. Okay, the mind speaks I've had. Last year, I got done doing my gifting, and I always call them you guys, whether they're male or female. I said, can you guys tell me what you are? What is going on here, I said. And I talked to them every day. And when I first started doing it, I felt like an ass talking out in the woods. But we don't have no trespassers, and past our land or state land, nobody even goes back there. But I said, can you tell me what you guys are? So I'm walking through the woods to go back home instead of down the power line. All of a sudden, I got stopped dead in my track. It just flooded me with information. I'd never had that like that before. And I said, oh my God, thanks. Here's what they said. We do not migrate south for the winter. We do not live in caves. We do not live in swamps. We do not need to go back in the deep woods. We can be wherever we want to be. We do not live on your earth. We are interdimensional, metaphysical, meaning when they're in a metaphysical state, they're flesh and blood. And they leave hair. I got the envelopes of hair. They leave tracks. The reason they come to earth, they said, because we like to come here. They told me what the X's are. The X's are boundary markers, not for humans, for other things that we don't know about. They put X's by my steps. Be like little ones like that there. There'll be 4 perfect X's right by my steps. I'll go to bed that night or come in the house, there's nothing there. The next day there's 4 X's there. Well, we don't have nobody coming out. I'm going to put some X's by Randy's steps and see if he finds it. That's not happening. We don't even have no neighbors close. And they said the X's by our steps are to keep the weird stuff we don't know about away from us. The knocking sound, they're not hitting a tree. They're popping in another dimension. They're popping out. That's what the knocking sound is. And the deer skulls, they'll put them on my steps of my house, in one of my deer stands. I can walk in the woods, come back, same trail, and there's a deer skull laying there. Well, that deer skull don't walk by itself, and I'm only one there. The reason they're in perfect shape and there's nothing chewed on them, because they were never laying on our earth as we know it. They were brought to me as a gift. Well, I have a lot more I can say, but there's the basis of it. You want me to keep going?
No, that's perfect. We can definitely go through some more. And by the way, we can still hear you. You just got a Walt Disney moment where your face is frozen, but you can still talk and hear us.
Oh,
right?
Really?
Yeah. But you know what? If that's okay. If your face is stuck, it's okay.
Then I better like that. There, smile is frozen.
it's beautiful and perfect. So
oh yeah, right.
No, that's okay. I don't want to interrupt the flow. So no,
Right.
thank you, Randy. You said some really great, profound stuff. I know you have plenty of stories. We talked many times. We have multiple interviews.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I have some thoughts going through my head. I'm sure Gary has some thoughts going through his head. I might have some questions because there's.
Oh, can I say one last thing?
Yeah, go for it.
I don't give opinions or theories. To me, opinions and theories are I'm just guessing. I don't know. So I tell whatever I'm saying is not going to ever be opinion or a theory. It's what they have told me and what I know. There you go.
No, that's awesome. That's what I love about you, man. You're not gonna go and say this is fact and truth. This is just your experience and what you know, and then there's still a lot.
Right. Yep.
So Gary, you got a little bit of that from Randy. It's a mouthpiece of stuff.
Yeah.
Randy's the first person I heard, not just like, I just see Bigfoot on my land all the time, and I don't know, I just see him all the time. He's got a lot of relationship experience, as well as you, my friend. So why don't you share a little bit about you so Randy gets a bit of that, and then we can start table talking this bad. So go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. First off, I'd say me and Randy kind of sound a lot alike. Same thing. I never wanted to pursue aliens, this, that, the other. It's something I was thrust into. First encounter was 5 years old with them shuffling in my room. It went away till I was in my 20s, saw a big, huge mothership, and this was in the San Francisco Bay Area. Later on, they basically explained that this was like a light switch inside of me. It set me on my true life path. I started studying the metaphysical, reincarnation, UFOs. Then probably about 3-4 years later, I started experiencing near-death experiences. I was actually homeless at the time, lay down in the back of a truck and accepted the fact I was going to die one night. And a voice, kind of like what Randy's talking about, starts talking to me, giving me information, and it goes away. And I tried to, how could I get this to come back? Wouldn't come back. Probably about, 8 months later, happened again. Voice explaining things to me. And at that point, they said they would be with me the rest of my life. So I went to sleep. I woke up the next morning. They started talking to me. This went on for a few months. And then I was reading a book about an alien civilization that lived amongst us. They looked human. And at one point, certain people come out of our society, like a musician, politician, this person, that person, said we're non-human. So I'm reading this book and I look up and I see a little wireframe, looks like a UFO, go out of the cloud, come back in. And they tell me at that point that that's who I'm communicating with, are these what I call NHI, non-human intelligent beings. I don't use the word alien because they are of this earth. They're of the universe. This planet is probably more so theirs than ours. So I don't use that or extraterrestrial. I use NHI, non-human intelligence. And 37 years later, here I am with a ton of information and encounters, experience, over 100 scars on my body, videotape. But really the focus has been on information and a whole bunch of encounters, more encounters than I could really remember, to be honest with you. But the focus, once again, has been on information.
Awesome. No, thank you, Gary. Randy, I really appreciate that. So one of the things that kind of speak out to me is the mind speak thing, right? Or like the communications without vocals, right? Between you guys hearing each other's stories, can you guys find some similarities? Now, again, I know Randy with the Bigfoot, Gary, we talk about non-human intelligence, right? What do you guys think so far? Is there any type of thing in regards to, like, we got these beings, that I'm gonna go and excuse me, Randy, when I say this, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Harry B, I'll call them NHI as well, because there's supposedly not just one species but multiple species crossing around, right? Supposedly interdimensional. What's you guys' kind of theories with that? Is there any connection per se?
Well, yeah, he could be right about. I know he didn't say aliens, but I've seen them come out of portals before. Well, that's not normal. That's not no. Well, there are people, but that's not no animal coming out. I've seen it with somebody else with me. We watched them come out of a portal, and they were two big round, like orb-looking things. And this was about 11 o'clock at night. We're sitting at one of my deer stands way back in the woods there. It's so dark. I'm seeing this doorway-looking thing, and maybe you've seen this too. And this doorway, it's about as wide as 3 doors and taller, and it's shimmering like the Northern Lights would look like. And I take my glasses off, and it's so dark I can't see John in this deer stand. But I'm right by him and I can't see him. That's how dark it is. I take my glasses off. Am I seeing that? Yeah, I am. I put my glasses on. I whisper to John, John, do you see that? He said, yes. All of a sudden, these two orb things, it's in the fall now. There's leaves all over the ground. They come out, two of them, and we're looking at them, and they're walking because we hear the leaves crunching. They go over to my original gifting area where we had put a jar of peanut butter up, some apples, and he had a brand new camera. And I said, yeah, go ahead, put the camera up there. And a minute or so, they come back. And the first one was not in orb form. I seen the cone head, the red eyes, the shoulders, the arms swinging back and forth, and hear the leaves crunching. And the second one wasn't orb form. They go to that doorway looking portal thing, and it's all gone. When we get down, we're excited about it. We go over the camera. Batteries are drained dry, and when we get home, the SD cards, nothing on it, and the peanut butter and apples are gone. So that, I know you don't like saying alien, but what in the heck are Sasquatch? Because they told me what they're not. I don't really know what they are. Well,
right, and so with that, hearing that, Gary, what's your thoughts on that? I know I heard a lot of your stories, but anything similar to that sense, or does that kind of resonate with you a little bit? In regards to that, anything you can share to add with your thoughts and opinions?
Yeah, what's been explained to me by my guides is that we're all at different levels of development. So we're learning what it is to be human. The Sasquatch and these, what you're calling aliens, what I call NHI, it's a name.
NHI, I'll remember that. NHI.
Yeah, they're non-human intelligent. They're not human. We're human. But we're at different levels of development. We're basically trying to get to where these Palladians are at, to where we use 100% of our mind. These Sasquatch are more developed than we are. That's why they're able to use what you call portholes. They've explained to me is molecular manipulation. They can manipulate molecular structures, and they're way beyond us. That's how they disappear.
Yeah, I agree
just
with
like
you.
these, just like the NHI, they could walk through walls, they could appear, they could disappear. That's basically what's been explained to me. We're in kindergarten. These Palladians are like getting their PhD, and they're just different levels of development going. We're all along the same path, just at different levels. How about that?
I totally agree with what you're saying. Yeah, they've been in my house when the house is locked and pissed on my bed. One time they pissed on my clothes. I could tell you stuff about that, and I think I know why they did it, but I don't give opinions.
I was going to ask, why do you think they did that? Yeah, why do you think that they urinated on your clothing in your house?
And this was two different times because, like I said, I don't give opinion, but this is the only thing I can think of. When I was first learning about this Sasquatch stuff and doing the cameras and all that, I have lots of structures here. I've had some wildlife biologists like the Doug Hychek. You know who Doug Hychek is? He's the one that produced Monster Quest shows on History Channel. Anyways, they're saying I got more evidence than anybody in the country, but I don't care about that. Because I'd be out in the woods there and I'd see a structure, I'd be standing and I'd go pee. I'd go to the bathroom. And I might have been doing it on their stuff. It's the only thing I can think of. Otherwise, and I don't do that no more. Yeah, if I go to the bathroom, I pee in the woods, but not by their structures. So I don't know what else it would be.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
I know.
Well, you pee on their house, they're going to pee on your house.
Just to let you know, I have a deck and everything. I know you have a bigger property, Randy. I still take a piss off my deck, dude. So
I'll just make it really quick. Come home at 10 o'clock at night with the kids, two grandkids. The house is locked. We were at a rodeo that day with my other granddaughter. My daughter Rachel said, "Can you leave your pickup here, take our big truck and the big trailer, and come back in the morning with 25 bales of hay?" I said, "Yes." I get to the house, the door's locked. I said, "Oh my God, Rachel's got my keys. I only got one house key, which is dumb of me. I can't get in the door. It's locked." I find a pry bar and I jimmy the door open and I get in. I had a new computer I just bought. In fact, the one I'm talking on right now. I go turn the dining room light on and I put the computer down on the dining room table. My hands get wet. I said, "What the hell?" Something came in the house, went in the freezer, got an ice cream bar out, opened it up, It melted right there, and the stick was on the opposite side. It didn't slide down there. Our table is level. Now, if I'm going to eat ice cream bar, I'm not going to eat one at 6 in the morning. And if I am, the two kids are going to want one too. I'm not going to do that. So I clean that mess up, and I get the kids to bed. I go in my bedroom, get ready to pull the covers back. What the hell? My hands are wet again. It was pissed all the way down to the box spring. Comforter, blankets, sheets, everything. Oh my God, it was the most sourest piss I've ever smelt. Of course, I bring that stuff down. I can't sleep in that bed. It's terrible. I sleep on the couch. A week later, nobody's home. And our bedroom door, it's so much weird stuff going on here all the time. I always lock my bedroom door when I'm home by myself. In the bedroom door, it's like this here. See the little glass panes. And what happens when a female dog goes to the bathroom? She squats down, right? And right by the bed, there's a clothes hamper. It's about 3 feet tall. You take the lid off, you can throw the clothes down in the basement. So bedroom door is locked. The curtain doesn't go all the way down, so you can see 3 panels at the bottom. About 4 in the morning, and I have my clothes laying on that hamper. At about 4 in the morning, the dog wakes me up, and she's looking out the bottom windows and growling bad. Golden retrievers aren't vicious like that. It was terrible. But I'm frozen. Not in fear. I can't move. I cannot move. And the door handle's going click, 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 click. I can hear it. It's clicking back and forth. I must have dozed off or whatever happened. That scene was done. I get up the next morning to grab my clothes. They're all pissed on again. Totally soaked. The same damn smell. What else would that be? But me peeing on their stuff and they peed on my, I don't know why they would do that to me. There's been times I've come home with researchers in the woods. I'm showing them structures and all that. And I said, a few days before they got here, I was going to let them camp here. I said, I got some friends coming here. I want you to scare the hell out of them. I said, don't hurt them, but scare the hell out of them. Get them good. And they did get it. Everybody got something happen to them. But on that Saturday, I'm taking them back in the woods and showing them some teepees and all that. My house is locked. Guess what? When I get home that afternoon, I unlock the house going, and there's nobody home. There's a stick of butter unwrapped and stuck on my refrigerator door. Now, how does that happen? You know, you buy a pound block of butter, they got the 4 sticks in it. You took one out of the refrigerator, took the paper off, and stuck the butter on the refrigerator door.
Yeah, it sounds like too, like we talked before, Randy, that there was a lot of fun pranks. I'm not sure, you know, like with any species, like I have a cat will stick its butt in my face just to like, hello. I'm like, please get your butt out of my face. I don't want to get to know you. So you know, who knows, right? Yep. So, you know, Gary, hearing what Randy's saying in regards to experiences and so forth with these entities, what's your experience? I mean, it sounds, I know to me it sounds kind of like, I don't say amateur, like a bunch of pranks going on, but I've heard some stories even with NHIs being kind of pranky at times. I don't know.
It's the younger ones. It's the juveniles doing this.
Okay. Gary, what's your thoughts on that? What can you share if here's some similar stories or just, you know, what's your thoughts, buddy?
They have never played any type of games like that with me. It's been very serious. Like I said, it's been about information. Now, with that said, they have a very, very good sense of humor. Since I was a little kid in school, they would give me cartoon images, especially when I'm down, depressed, I have a problem with a certain person. They will give me a whole comic scenario of this person that will get me out of my doldrums. But they've never played games. They've never played games with me, anything of that sort, which I don't mean this in a bad term, but it sounds almost like child's play.
Yes, it does.
What they're doing. The first thing, can I ask a question?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Can I ask you, Randy? One of the first things that came to my mind is possibly something you could have done to upset them.
Oh, yeah. At the beginning, sure. Yep. It could be. They hit my house all the time. They leave oily white finger streaks on my house all the time. Just last week, the dog goes in the kitchen barking real bad. The house door is locked. They pound on the door, and Tanner's here, Terry's son, and the door handle's clicking back and forth. It's locked. Scared the heck out of him. It happened again, and I was home. I knew there wasn't going to be nothing there, but I opened the door and say, hey, that was a real good one you did there. They put dents in my camper. They shook the camper so hard when the girls were sleeping in it just for fun. The grandkids, they took it right off the block and it was into the ground. They got knuckle marks all over the back of the camper. They never had no dents in that camper. So I went outside and I said the next day when I seen that happen, I said, okay, you guys, I like what you're doing. Keep coming to the house, have fun, move things around, do what you want to do, but quit hitting the camper. You're putting dents in it and you're scaring the kids. Nothing has happened since then. Not one thing on the camper. I asked them to block a trail. I'll come back the next day. My trail where I can walk down, or it's blocked. Just like they do things for me, little things like that.
So here's a question I want to ask. Randy, you mentioned this a bit before we started the show. I know, I kind of joke sort of in a way where you're kind of like, I think David Hijack mentioned this. You're like the Skinwalker Ranch of like.
Oh, the North, he says it. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And one of the things you said earlier, and I believe, Gary heard this too, as well as Cody, is these lights that were in broad daylight. Has that this, and this is, I'm assuming, recently, and has this happened before? And definitely want to get Gary's thoughts on that too, because to see any connection with that. So please elaborate, explain, and Gary, I want to hear if you had these similar stories and your thoughts as well.
I'm going to have to go back last year first to tell a little bit of head story. And then I'll tell you about the lights. Then I'll tell you what somebody told me. I won't take too long. Last year, the She Squatchers, Jen and Jenna, they got a little team. She was sitting at the fire ring. I'm sitting in the deer stand by my gifting area, and this Jen is sitting on the other side, 25 yards away of the woods in a stand. About 9 o'clock at night, I had such a massive headache. I don't know why I did. I couldn't even take it no more. I write to that Jenna on the phone and said, I'm going to come get you. We got to go back home. I got to get some aspirins. Then we'll walk out to that fire ring on this 40 acres here. I got some chairs around there, a little ring I made, and you'll see it when you come here. And I asked, you see anything? She said, well, something buzzed my head 9 times. Well, she knew what it was. She just didn't tell me. Okay. The next day they're gone. I'm out to my gifting area, and I get to the spot where the dice are at and the Rubik's Cube and all that, and it's really moved a lot. And I'm saying, man, that's really moved. And I've been down on my hands and knees. I can hear something coming, and it flies by my ear. Now I seen this. I seen the feet, the legs, the arms, the head, and wings. It was like a fairy-looking thing. I seen it. It wasn't big, maybe that big. So I called Jen when I got home. I said, you believe in fairies? She says, oh, yeah, that's what was flying by my head. She said, you see one? And I didn't want to say, oh, yeah, I've seen one because she said that. So I said, no. I wanted to look up about them. So I get home, look it up, and it says, oh, they like to mess around with people. They like to move things around all the time. Okay. I called her back and I told her I seen one. It was plain as day. It was right by my head. Okay, now we'll get to the lights. Let's see, what day is it today? It's a Wednesday. Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday. I'm sitting in that deer stand at about 6 o'clock. And off to the left in the woods where not my gifting area, where the Dyson stuff is at, I see this light. It's about like that. And I've seen lots of orbs before. We got a lot of orbs here. I got videos of orbs flying, orbs coming out of the ground, going down, going sideways. But it's not really moving. I'm looking at what the heck is that? It's so bright. It's like a sun hitting a mirror or something. That's how bright it was. But there's no mirror in the woods there, and the sun wasn't hitting a popple tree. We have a lot of popple trees in Minnesota. They're not going to do that. I'm looking at it, and all of a sudden it's gone. And that was Saturday. And Sunday, I'm sitting in the stand again, and over where I do my peanut butter, I see another one. I watch it, and then it's just gone. On Sunday, same area, but a little bit different area, I see another one. So I was told those are those fairy lights, and they're trying to show me themselves. I don't believe everything people tell me, but I know I've seen something, and I don't know what it is. John, maybe you know.
So Gary, with that being said, any similar experiences? We got some lights.
Oh,
going
Gary, not John. Sorry.
It's okay. There's a lot of Johns. I know,
Yeah,
like
there
5
is.
Johns.
I was wondering. He never answered me.
He's like, John, where's he at? John changed. What happened to John here? No, but Gary. So Gary. With that being said, we're kind of like, you can see that he's got this massive land of 40 acres, right? It's it's connected to a lot of different historical stuff and so forth. And you got these lights that are happening. So yeah, we got these Bigfoots that we call, right? Where NHI will stick with that, just be the broad term. But any have you experienced that yourself when it comes to orbs, lights coming out, or like anything you relate to with what Randy was saying in regards to experience?
Well, I've got pictures I've seen structured craft that looks like a cross between a triangle and a ladder. You can see through this, but it's a triangle shape. It keeps flying above me. I go to videotape it. The video function doesn't work on my phone, so I take a picture and it comes out as like a blue orb. And this particular orb, there's different types of orbs. This is basically the electromagnetic or anti-gravitational field that surrounds these crafts to propel them. Now, one thing I kind of want to say, and I don't know what you're going to think of this, Randy, and I've ran across this scenario before with other people. I got a very, very good friend that I've known since I was about 25, Northern California. His first Sasquatch experience was when he was 11 years old. He'd go up to his grandfather. His whole family is into hunting. Okay. So his grandfather's paying him $2.50 to bring him birds that he goes and shoots. So he's out in the woods. He's doing his thing. He's killing these birds. And this thing comes up on him and scares the hell out of him. And basically, kind of like what you're saying, what I'm saying, mentally puts in him that he's ashamed of him for what he's doing out there killing the animals. And I ran into I lost track of Dan for a while. And I came across another guy online that was going through these experiences with the NHI and the UFOs, and he's out hunting, but he wasn't hunting to eat. He was hunting for the thrill of killing something, which is why they were flocking around him. And it's basically, they were trying to steer him away from what he was doing because of what he's going to go through when he dies. It's different. I mean, you got to eat. You're out killing something. I get it. But if you're just out there, some of these people take hunting to a different level, and they'll kill the animal, they'll eat the heart, and becomes ritualistic. You know what I'm saying?
I'll get something to tell you then about that. I'm big in the deer hunting thing. And when I was younger, if something moved, I shot it, But since the Sasquatch thing has happened to me and all that, I don't want to shoot anything anymore. I could care less if I ever shot another deer or not. I have a different feeling now. I never used to have that feeling. Something has changed me.
Yeah. Was this before or after urinating on all your stuff?
Wow, great question.
I've never thought of that, I guess. I don't. Yeah, it's gotten stronger now since then. Stronger now than before the peeing on my stuff. Yes.
I think that could be some of this prankster stuff. Like I say, eating is one thing, but killing something just for the thrill of killing it. I'm a musician. I played music since I was 16 years old. When I was a teenager, I dug on Ted Nugent. He's the man.
Yeah.
This dude is such a great. But he takes this hunting to a different level. I mean, he's out killing animals that you're not even eating. It becomes a sport rather than a necessity.
Yeah, I know. And my wife, Terry, doesn't like venison, and I've shot enough deer. I got some really big ones on my wall. I don't need to be shooting deer. I'm actually having fun watching them. And if I want to shoot a deer, I can put my finger and go bang. Oh, I shot that one. Because I like watching them. And wolves and all that. No, I'm not going to shoot no wolf. I mean, everybody up here in northern Minnesota says, oh, yeah, you better. Did you get that one? Well, I don't even tell them I've seen one then.
You know what, guys? That's one thing I'm glad you brought up. And by the way, Garrett, that was a hell of a great question. By the way, I told him, oh God, that was a great question. Regarding was that after they pissed in her place? I never thought of that. Here's something that we Randy, you and I have talked about this. I think you and I have talked about this too. I'm a musician. Randy's a musician.
Mm-hmm.
Gary's a musician. Music is a universal language,
It
right?
is. Yep.
You can play something where everybody understands. You don't have to have words with it, but they can feel what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's any connection? You already know what I'm asking, right, Gary? So any connection
Absolutely.
as a frequency because of sound and frequency. What's your guys' thoughts on that? And Gary, you go first, man, because I know you have a lot to say about that, and then Randy, you can expand on that as well.
So the music connection with these NHI, and I'm going to use myself as an example. What we call abductions, they call a genetic development program. So they help us develop creativity and higher mental development. Higher mental development would be what me and Randy are doing with the mental communication. These Sasquatch are doing the same thing with him, helping you develop this. Now, they help us create, Jimi Hendrix, Sammy Hagar, so many musicians, John Lennon have had encounters with these beings. And that's what it is. It's a tit for a tat. They help you to creative development, and in exchange, like with me, I mentioned over 100 scars on my body. What these are about is they're basically testing the diabetes. I'm diabetic. I have been since about 1998. And they're testing how fast my body is healing and the rate of the diabetes progressing in my body, because my blood sugars were way out of whack for a lot of years. And when I say way out of whack, a normal person's 90 to 120. That's normal blood sugar. Our blood sugar testers go up to 600. I would test my blood sugar at times because I'm feeling awful, and it wouldn't even register on the blood sugar thing. So one of the things with diabetes is your cuts don't heal like a normal person. So that's what these 100 scars are on my body. I could send you pictures I got on my phone of all of these I got. And I don't remember these encounters. I don't bleed. I don't have scabs. I wake up and I got the scars. So when they're doing this, I'm gone with them. And I think this is paralleling with Randy here with the Sasquatch. I'm pretty sure that they work with this on a mental and creative level.
Randy.
Yeah, well, I got nothing. I agree with what you're saying. I got nothing like that, but I can tell you when Doug Hychek was at my place and his recording engineer guy and Tanner. Okay, before I tell you this here, Sasquatch does not smell. They don't have a bad odor. They put that odor in a person's mind because they don't want them there. That bad, rotten, dead meat smell thing. Because I've never had it. They never once have done it to me. Not one time. But anyways, we're back at where I do my gifting and my peanut butter back here. And Doug says, sing. I said, what do you mean sing? He said, well, you play in a band, you sing a song. So I did, because they were feeling strange. So I did sing a song, and I stopped. All of a sudden, they got overwhelmed with a really bad smell. Strong. I started singing again. It went away. I stopped singing. They got it. I never had it one time. There's been other times I've had people with me that get the really awful smell, and I don't, because those people are trying to get evidence off of them, and they know that. So that's all I can say about
Bingo.
music. Huh? What?
I said bingo. That's exactly it. My good friend I'm telling you about, his name's Dan. Yep. He says you will never see these if you go out what they call squatching. They don't like that.
I agree.
Well, it's just like you're saying. They want evidence.
Yeah. Oh, this one, I won't say his name. I'll just say Doug Hychek's recording guy. Last year, he goes to a spot where they've had some stuff happening over there by, I guess, being in Minnesota, it's called. And he brings 25 cameras. He puts up 25 cameras and 20 recorders, and he's got this big teepee thing. He's in there, and he can see all his cameras from this teepee thing. I said, you're not going to get nothing doing that there. Guess what he got? Nothing. Not even a squirrel on him. Nothing. Just dumb. Just dumb. I don't let nobody come here that's going to try that. Nope. Because my place is, and I'm not letting too many people come anymore because I don't want to ruin what I got going on. I like it. My place is for the experience, not the evidence. What?
Randy, I don't think they're going to ruin what you going on. That's personal between you and them.
Oh, is it? Okay. Okay.
You're not going to give them the evidence they want. It's just like these UFOs. You got all these people, all these pictures. Well, why are they always blurry? Why did they get into your devices? They can manipulate your devices, you know?
Oh, they
And
can.
another thing I want to
I
say,
know
there's another thing I want to say. When I saw this mothership I mentioned earlier, the first, after my childhood thing, and I got a friend with me that I work with. I'm driving home and he's freaking out. He's scared to death of this and he just wants to go home. And we see a guy, and it's right by the 49ers practice stadium and now where their new stadium is. And he's walking with a bike. And I remember this thing you cannot miss it. It is huge and he can't see this thing and we can. So they could definitely, and they told me they do this getting in our minds to where one person can see it, one person can't. Just like with the Sasquatch. You're experiencing one thing and they're steering them away with this smell.
you're right.
They don't like these people.
Can I tell you? I got to tell you this here. You know a lot about what you're talking about. Okay, I'll try to make it quick. I got Mike Quast. He's the one that wrote the 2 books about my place. And I ain't even getting no money off those books. That's not what it was about. Okay. And I got John Badger that's seen Sasquatch here, good guy, and my wife's son, Tanner. And we're walking back on the state land. And they want me to take them across the beaver dam to the swampy area. There's a lot of structures over there and stuff. But we're taking a break. Now we're at I call it the original teepee. It's a big teepee that they've made. And 25 yards to the south, you can see a fence line. Remember the fence line. 25 yards to the north, you can see a bunch of pine trees.
Hey, Randy, before you continue, was it made out of fallen tree branches at all, the fence line?
No, it's sticks that went from the area.
Oh, no, sorry, the teepee.
They put them in, intertwined them. You can tell.
Sticks,
They made it.
branches, stuff like that.
Yeah, with the teepee being?
Yeah.
Was a teepee made out of fallen sticks and branches? Sorry, so you can continue. Sorry.
It's made out of regular branches that big around.
Okay. Go. Keep going.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, they want to go. Now, there's a dusting of snow on the ground. It's about 3 o'clock. We got to walk a good 1.5 miles north to get to the river. We have to cross the beaver dam. There's no bridge or nothing. We're in the bush. So I got a lot of energy, as you can tell, and I walk quick. So I'm about 50 yards ahead of them, and I come across these 2 square rectangular holes. And there's no trees or nothing there. They're about maybe 1.5 feet long, 8 inches wide, maybe 6 inches deep. I get on my hands and knees. There's 2 of them right together. Dig the leaves out of them, looking at them. Well, I don't know what this is, I guess. I get up. I start walking north, and I'm almost 200 yards away from them, and I see a new teepee that I didn't know was there. I said, you guys get up here right now. You got to get up here. Now, remember the fence line I told you about in the trees. And so they get up there, and they're excited about it. The book writer's inside the teepee, and we're taking video of it and pictures and all that. And I asked them, are you sure you guys want to go? We got a ways yet to walk. And it's going to be getting dark enough that we'll have to walk back in the dark. And I could do it. I know those woods real good. I probably could get us back. And they said, nah, let's just go back. So we get home there, about 3 miles of walk, and we get back. They all leave. I'm in the house looking at my video I took. Guess what? We weren't there. We were at that original teepee because I could see the pine trees and the fence line in my video. We weren't there. So the next day I go back there. Our tracks never circled around. They went north just like I said we were doing. Now, what do you think they did to us? All 4 of us. I don't know, but they did something to us.